Hey, man.
Hooray.
Yeah, everybody ready? Welcome to the City Council meeting. I'm calling this meeting to order. The time is now 5:30. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Councilmember Gama,
Here.
Councilmember Perez,
Here.
Councilmember Lopez,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez.
Here.
And Mayor McQueen Lejeune.
Here. We'll now hear public comments related to the closed session. Madam Clerk, are there any public comments?
No public comments for closed session.
Great. Okay, Mr. City Attorney, please read the closed session item into the record.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We will be going into closed session this evening pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 regarding the potential initiation of litigation pursuant to subsection D1 of the Government Code. We will not be disclosing the nature of that case due to open session discussion potentially prejudicing the agency's position in such litigation. And there is only one matter tonight.
Great, thank you. Are there any members with a conflict of interest as it relates to the listed closed session item?
Madam Mayor, I live over 500 feet from the property and less than 1,000 feet from the property. So I don't have a material conflict per se or interest in the property, but at an abundance of caution, I'm going to recuse myself.
Great, thank you. Thank you. So now we'll go ahead and recess into the closed session. The time is now 5:31. Good evening and welcome to the City Council regular meeting. I'm calling this meeting to order. The time is now 6:30, and we will stand and will be led by Mayor Pro Tem, the flag salute.
All right, everybody, hand over heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Councilmember Gama,
Here.
Councilmember Lopez,
Here.
Councilmember Perez. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez,
Here.
and Mayor McQueen Lejeune.
Here. We will now hear our inspiration from Councilmember Lopez.
Thank you, Mayor. Honorable council members, staff, community leaders, neighbors, friends. Every evening, as the sun dips below the horizon here at Hueneme Beach, we are reminded of the vast ocean that stretches out before us. For centuries, the same ocean has served as a bridge. It is a bridge of courage, a path of destiny, and the common thread that connects the history of Ventura County to the vibrant cultures of Asian and Pacific Islanders. As we gather to celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, which Councilmember Gama will recite, we are not just looking back at history books, we're looking back at a very fabric of our own community. A story of the Asian American Pacific Islander heritage in Ventura County is one of the profound resilience, unmatched work ethic, quiet triumphs, decades ago at the hands of early Asian immigrants that helped transform the Oxnard Plain and Ventura County into an agricultural powerhouse, cultivating the very soil we walk on today. They faced monumental hardships, systematic barriers, and social isolation, yet they chose to dig their roots deep into the county, trusting that future generations would blossom. And blossom they did, right here in the friendly city. Looking at Hueneme today, our unique identity is profound, shaped as we step into service. We see the heritage alive in our neighborhoods, our local, our small businesses, our civic leadership. We see it in the classrooms, we see it in our hospitals, we see it in our educators that inspire the next generation. We sit in the halls of our city governance where diverse voices ensure that everybody has a seat at the table. As a profound home to naval-based Ventura County, our ports have long been a launching pad for our heroes for generations. Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have worn the uniform of the United States Armed Forces with distinction. They have served as sailors, soldiers, civil servants on our bases, protecting freedoms abroad while building a better community here at home. They have proved the patriotism isn't defined by their last name or their place of birth, but the weight of their commitment to our fellow citizens here at Port Hueneme. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful inspiration. And we'll now move to our city attorney with the closed session report.
Yes, there's no reportable action from closed session.
Great, thank you. We'll now hear public comments not pertaining to the items on the agenda. Madam Clerk, are there any public comments?
Yes, Madam Mayor. First up is Lori Haskins.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Lori Haskins, and I provided you with some pictures. I live at 481 4th Place, and I've been here in Port Hueneme for 25 years now, and I've always lived across from an empty lot. A year ago, they started building on that lot. We never complained about them starting before 7 o'clock in the morning. They would work all crazy hours. They have now built 5 apartments, and they have these LED lights that light up the entire street. I can understand that at a grocery store. I could understand that in a mini mall, but not across the street from residents. It is so bright, and you will see that in those pictures. As you're walking down the street, you can see a line of just the light. Even the neighbors around me have commented to me just because I asked them, it's only been on for 1 week. And it's crazy, I have to like block my windows. It is so harsh. And they can tilt them, but they're kind of tilted out towards the street. So I did talk to the owner, and he did tilt one of them a little bit around. I just think being directly across from this, it is just so bright. I would invite you all to take a drive down there and take a look at it, because I don't think it's something that should be in a residential area. It's just too bright, and it doesn't match anything on either street around it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I may, so I took a quick look, and I know it's not on the agenda, so we can't necessarily discuss, but I believe these were installed by the developer or property owner, so we could ask our community development department to take a look and make sure that they've installed everything according to plan.
Great.
So we'll have them follow up.
Thank you.
Michael Jude Murphy.
Good evening, Port Hueneme City Council members. Thank you for allowing me to speak once again to you this evening. I spoke to you last on June 17th of 2024 on the Pride flag, requesting and proposing a ballot initiative for flagpole display in Port Hueneme be brought before the people of Port Hueneme. Obviously, that did not happen. Now, I have a bunch of issues with the government speech aspect of our city flagpole that honors the personal preference of a few in a declining population. I believe flying the pride flag over our city and perhaps in our children's classrooms is not education but indoctrination. Train up a child in the way they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. I've lived in Port Hueneme for over 45 years. All my kids attended Hueneme schools, elementary through high school. So standing behind the pride flag, as you are, there are new necessary risks and liabilities to consider that will affect the city and the future ahead. In fact, a growing number of youthful transitioners describe precisely the alarming medical complications and physical pain that come with unneeded puberty blockers and surgery on healthy bodies. Young detransitioners have also begun to win costly medical lawsuits against doctors who perform transgender procedures. The Texas Attorney General announced on Friday a significant $10 million settlement with Texas School Children's Hospital in Houston over that hospital's long practice of harming minors with cross-sex hormones and transgender surgeries. From the Crime Prevention Research Center, transgender shooters commit disproportionate shares of mass public and active shooting attacks. In 2024, for active shooters, at least 12 times their share of the population. Now, the Associated Press states that there's no incredible rise in transgender shooters, and Snopes concludes mass shooters are not disproportionately transgender, contrary to claims. But they compound the problem by not only failing to adjust for transgender share of the population, but also much broader definition of shootings than that the FBI would use. Robert Dorgan, 2026. Jesse Van Rusteler, 2026. Mia Bailey, 2025. Robert Westman, 2025. Audrey Hale, 2023. Three more things, right?
You can go ahead and finish your sentence.
Thank you so much. Anderson Lee Aldrich, 2022. Alex McKinney, 2019. And Scotia Mosley, 2018. Please, don't put that flag up there. It doesn't represent everybody in our community. I know it's a good thing.
Yes, great. Thank you for your comment.
Ask the people of Port Hueneme.
Joey Jimenez.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Mayor McQueen-Lejeune, Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez, council members, staff, and esteemed audience. I'd like to discuss two topics tonight. The first one being Hueneme Sister Cities membership. I want to encourage you, No, I don't want to encourage you. I want to inspire you to become members of the Hueneme Sister Cities program. Not only would it benefit us, but it'll benefit you as well, and that includes law enforcement, right? It'll benefit both of us in confirming the relationship we have in support of one another. Second topic at hand is our Hueneme Sister Cities counterpart, Puerto Vallarta, is coming to visit us in July. They will be here July 1st through July 8th. They'll actually be in Santa Barbara for 7 days, but they've managed to carve out 1 day, July 5th, to come and visit Port Hueneme. So again, I want to encourage you, I want to invite you and inspire you to come and join us for the festivities. It starts at 8:30. We're having lunch/brunch. We're going to have dinner. Come and introduce yourselves, or let us introduce you. Share a smile, share a laughter, share a conversation. Get to know the folks that we call family and friends over the last year and a half. One thing I do ask is I would like to ask for a confirmed head count as soon as possible, as the luncheon and the dinner does require confirmation head count so we can square away those reservations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I can't tell you where, but lunch will be over at Gen Maya Sushi, and then dinner's TBD.
David Scrivener.
Good evening. I have 3 things on my list to talk about today. The first one is to thank the Port Hueneme Police Department. We have had a series of break-ins at the RV lot at Surfside Village. They've been actively trying to do what they can to help. On Monday, I was sitting at my computer. I happened to wake up early. The alarm went off. I looked at our cameras, and we got the same guy who robbed us a month ago. I called the police department. They immediately showed up. 5 minutes later, grabbed the guy, and followed through with getting all the video evidence. And I was just totally impressed by the professionality of these people, their response. It turned out, luckily, that this happened during shift change. So we just didn't have 3 people. We had a bunch of guys there, and they got this guy, and he's hopefully going to be prosecuted. So I'm just really impressed by their behavior and their professionality. So thank you. 2 other issues. We're getting an awful lot of big trucks speeding and running red lights at the corner up here again. It's an ongoing problem. It seems like it gets put down and it starts up again, but there are these guys running red lights. They're going through this intersection at 40, 45. Somebody's going to get killed again. We had the incident where these trucks hurt somebody over in Oxnard, actually killed him. We had the 2019 incident where the truck driver was drunk, running a red light, didn't even have a valid license, and he's still running big rigs full of bananas in our city. So I don't know what to do about that other than to encourage I would like to say the port would help. They haven't been very helpful with it. They're just going to wash their hands and say that's not our problem. So it comes down to, I think, asking for more traffic enforcement. The last part is at the corner of Ventura Road and Surfside Drive, when you make a right-hand turn, there's a yield little thing there that's getting increasingly dangerous. We need a stop sign there. The cars come and they rush through there really quickly. Most people don't, by the way. Most of the truck drivers are fine. Most of the drivers are fine, but there are people who speed through there, and it's right where everybody walks across the street out of the crosswalk. So you can't see these people coming. Somebody's going to get hurt. So we'd really like to encourage you to think about putting a stop sign there to slow things down a little bit. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes public comment.
Great, thank you. We'll now move to the agenda. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
Move to approve?
Second.
Great. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Great. Is there any conflict of interest for any of the items on the agenda tonight? No? We're going to move to our presentations. First, we have a presentation of awards for the Officer of the Year and Support Services of the Year. If we can have the chief come up to the podium if he's here. And so we'll turn it over to you for now.
Good evening, everyone. We have two presentations. Yes, the Support Services Employee of the Year and the Department's Officer of the Year. As you know, we also do a Supervisor of the Year and a Dispatcher separately. I'm excited to say that in our Support Services Support Services Employee of the Year, 2 employees got the most votes, and they got the same number. So we get to celebrate 2 this year. What's even more exciting about that is the 2 employees in the support services world that got the votes are your 2 parking enforcement officers. Welcome back to the police department. Clarissa Vasquez and Rachel Perez. And I'm going to talk about Rachel first. And if you recall, they were under community development. We brought them back over a year and a half ago or so, and they've done very well adapting back into the police department and embracing the team concept we have at the PD. So for Rachel, she came to work for the city in 1998. And I love it how Rachel says, I came here in 98, and she says, I've proudly served the community, for over 27 years. She'll get into her explanation on it. But she's very proud of what she does, and it is a difficult job to do parking. And when I say our parking personnel are being recognized, you all know that that is a difficult job, and it is a busy job, and there's more they do behind the scenes. Rachel has great focus on assisting the public. We got to change up how they did things when they came over, and she was one that embraced the communication part, education part, and getting to do some police work in between parking enforcement. She enjoys helping citizens, and that's the quiet stuff you may not always hear or see about. You may hear the one person who's upset about getting a ticket that day or something else, but you don't see the quiet, humble part of their job that they do, and Rachel does a lot of that throughout the day. She takes great pride in serving the city and being part of the team. I want to read a couple of comments. Remember, this was voted in by their peers, their coworkers, all their coworkers in the police department. And some of the comments for Rachel are, Rachel, in my opinion, is by far the most capitalized, consistent employee I have ever worked alongside here in Hueneme PD. She comes to work on time, gets through her day, working consistently every single shift. Another coworker, Rachel will go above and beyond her job, working to keep the city safe by calling in suspicious vehicles and subjects, finding things that might need somebody to check the well-being on somebody, and anything else that seems concerning in the field. So they're out there for parking, but it's an extra set of eyes, and she has the police radio right in front of her. Another one, Rachel continues doing her job to the best of her ability, even when she has a difficult confrontation with a citizen or has been yelled at. She never stops working, and that is Rachel. Unfortunately, Rachel could not be here with us tonight, but I do just want to repeat, for Rachel, the message she continues to purvey and wants you guys to know is she's very proud of her role here in working for the city and being part of the community, very much so. So that is for Support Services Employee of the Year, Rachel Perez. Now, Clarissa doesn't get off that easy. She gets to come stand here while I talk. Come on up. Neither one of these two, they are so humble and they don't want the limelight, but they're heroed amongst their peers. So we're happy. So this is your moment. So our other sports services employee of the year is Clarissa Vasquez. And she started with us as a police explorer back in 2016. So she's been part of the team for a long time. And then she started working for the city in 2022 in her role in park enforcement. A total of 4 years now. She attended Oxnard and Ventura Colleges, obtaining an associate's degree in administration of justice and in Spanish. She didn't stop there. She also graduated from Cal State University, Los Angeles in 2022 with a bachelor's in Spanish. Now, she's furthering education at Cal State University, Northridge, and pursuing her master's in Spanish with a focus on translation interpretation. I cannot tell you how much we utilize that with her on patrol. She's constantly getting pulled off of her job to come help translate, and it is so much appreciated. And now that you're refining that even more, it's gonna be great. Probably get used over on the City Hall side. Her goal is to become a full-time police officer with us here at Hueneme PD when she finishes up all her studies. So I told you a little about the role with Rachel. You have the same thing here, and you have this constant. They show up, they check in, they handle business, and they hit the field. It's not just parking enforcement that they're doing, especially now that they're under the police department. They are helping with our traffic collisions. They're helping when we have crime scenes and we need stuff shut down. They are helping handle some of the lesser calls. If they're on scene first, it's something that they can visually see that it's clear and everything's okay, they can cancel the officers. And that is Clarissa. We don't even have to call her anymore. She jumps on the air, or if she hears an officer has an arrest and there's another call pending and there's gonna be a car towed or something, she will go over and relieve the officers so they can take their arrest, or she'll clear the officers from something so that they can go handle a call, and she'll take over the stuff after the bad guys are gone. So she does that a lot. So much so that you can see why the team is nominating these two for all the stepping up they do in between their normal role. Some of the things said about Clarissa is, I love that one person just sent in the bullet points. Hardworking, always willing to help, and the TOE form that we use that takes a while to fill out unless you're really good at it, the TOE form is called the CHP 180. They called her the CHP 180 wizard. So when an officer's trying to make an arrest or something, she'll show up, take it out of their hand, do it real quick while they finish searching the suspect, put him in the car. She saves them a lot of time. Here's another one. Clarissa has helped locate vehicles of interest for patrol and participates in department events such as Special Olympics Torch Run, 5K Color Run, and traffic details. She's dedicated and a hardworking employee and consistently shows a strong desire to learn and improve. And the last one, she is incredibly hardworking and balances the need for her enforcement and educating citizens when appropriate. We do get our compliments, the good compliments, when they're like, your parking enforcement person was so helpful to me at the beach today and explained everything. And it's usually Clarissa. So we appreciate that. She's well regarded by her peers, and I've heard nothing but positive comments about those who work with her. Ladies and gentlemen, your other support services employee of the year, Clarissa Vasquez. Both of them so humble. Do you want a photo for this one? After you want to talk. Want a photo first?
So, are we gonna do comments?
Comments or photo first?
We'll
say comments.
We have comments. I was hoping that we can just do both presentations and then take all the pictures together.
Oh, okay.
If we can do that, just for time's sake.
Got it.
So if you want to just have a seat really quick, if you're not going to speak, and then we'll have.
Can we do
You all
comments
can
for
do
her?
comments, and then we'll move to the next one, and then we'll come and
Got
do
it.
all the pictures at one time.
Okay. You wanna?
Yeah, I'll go first. Clarissa, you know, the key, being recognized by your peers and the key words, you know, dedicated, hardworking, always on time, that's amazing. Like, you know, 4 years doing support services, you're the behind the scenes person, and I know that parking enforcement could be, you know, a very tough department, and I commend you for your work, and thank you. Thank you for your dedication.
So it's been a really long time since we heard something positive about parking enforcement. And, and that is a testament to Chief and the parking, or the traffic division that we have now, and the training, and then both yours and Ms. Perez's ability to want to change and incorporate and just blend in and take on whatever it is, the new things that were happening. So I just want to tell you that I'm so grateful to hear these good things, because as you know, there's a lot of awful things that we hear about parking enforcement. There are social media groups dedicated to hating parking enforcement. So I just want to thank everyone who's involved with this for the great stuff that's coming out of parking, and keep up the great work. And we'll welcome you as a police officer. Can't wait for that. And how long before that happens?
Hopefully by next year.
Oh, wow, so
Right.
very soon. Well, thank you. Thank you for your dedication to our city.
Yeah, I've interacted with you a lot at the beach, and you've you've been, you know, I just see it, how good you are to the folks out there, and having that a pleasant attitude versus ticket, you know. So I think it's really it's made Hueneme Beach more attractive for people, and I'm just so impressed with the trajectory that you're on. And I look behind you and I see these other police explorers, and I know of other success stories, and I look back on the wall and see our current police officers, and we have something really special here, and it's because of people like you, and just keep working hard, and I just can't wait to see you with a badge. Thank you.
Thank you, Clarissa, for your good work. I'm glad that you're putting your education to work and to our benefit. I hope you're getting a bilingual bonus. If not, you should be. And I know you have a very difficult job out there, and you take a lot of abuse sometimes, you and Rachel. And I want you to know that I am a fan of yours, and I'm a fan of Rachel's, and I'll always go to bat for you guys. Not literally, but I will always support you guys, the two of you out there, and the job that you do. I have a lot of respect for what you do, and the bravery that you display, and the courtesy you display, and the professionalism that you display. I actually did see Rachel in action. I had a neighbor whose car was, his windshield was smashed, or his side window was smashed. He was very upset. I don't think he called police right away, but Rachel was patrolling, and he had left his vehicle. I guess he was on his phone. He was walking down the street, and she actually stopped and looked at it, noticed what had happened, and called it in. And that was very admirable on her part. I was really proud to see her do that. So the both of you, keep up the good work. Very happy to see what you're doing out there.
Yeah, I'll just say ditto, and congratulations on your award, and let Rachel know we appreciate all the work that both you and her are doing, and congratulations to you both. Thank you.
Wait, here, we'll do Chris's, and then we'll do pictures afterwards. So, yeah, you can have a seat, and then we'll do Chris's. Now for your Port Hueneme Police Officer of the Year. Our Officer of the Year is Christopher Tario. Now, Tario was my first Academy graduate police officer that I got to swear in as your police chief almost 3 years ago. And he's been here for those 3 years, and then more than that with his Academy time. Chris came to us here at Hueneme PD as a former custody deputy with the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office. He has a strong background in law enforcement, and he was raised in the heart of California's Central Valley, and his journey led him to Santa Barbara City College, which then led him to getting his degree in criminal justice, which led him to the Sheriff's Department, and then when he got his choice of agencies to apply for, he came here. And we're lucky to have him. And during his time here at PHPD, He quickly established himself as a dedicated street patrol officer and true team player. He has faced some incredibly dangerous situations, and he has shown true courage and bravery every time. Last year, he was selected to be an Explore Advisor for our Explore program. He provides mentorship and guidance to our police explorers, as you can see back there in the back of the room. I cannot express enough how important that role is, because they're guiding, our not only just our future officers, but the future members of our community to make a more professional and dedicated people. And he is a true standout in that role with our explorers. In addition to being selected for our 2026 Officer of the Year by his peers this year, he has also just received the 2026 MAD Mothers Against Drunk Driving Award for having the most DUI arrests of our patrol officers. Just goes to say how dedicated and hardworking he is. So amongst the, like I said, amongst the comments, I pull some of them. I try to pull the top three to read back to you. And he had so many. This was a very strong vote for Chris to get this award. Amongst them was Officer Tario represents the very best of our department through his professionalism, dedication, friendliness, loyalty, and his commitment to the citizens of our community. He serves as a benchmark for our entire department. Another one, Officer Tario's commitment to service and his work with the Police Explorer program has been recognized and described as exceptional. I cannot tell you enough the influence he's made with the advisor team and everything he's doing for them. Another one, Chris Tario has integrity, is dependable, humble, respectful, and has a great attitude towards police work and shows his quick wit and sense of humor. It's very true. He makes me laugh quite often. His quick wit and sense of humor when interacting with his peers and the public. And it is nice to back him up on a call once in a while, and you get to somebody's door and he's already got them chuckling in a difficult moment. So that is one of his superpowers, is that quick wit. He is always dedicated to the mission of the Port Hueneme Police Department, and his character, attitude towards police work, strong work ethic, mentorship, commitment to the community make him the most deserving of being named Officer of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, Officer Chris Tario, your Officer of the Year.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Temp, council members. Good evening to the community. I just wanted to say thank you for being here. Thank you, Chief. Thank you to all my team members, all my partners, all my mentors that are back there, every sergeant, every senior officer that's mentored me over the last 3 years, friends that are here. I just wanted to say thank you. My biggest thing in policing is always, like my parents always told me, is use the golden rule. Use the golden rule. Treat everybody like the way you want to be treated. And most importantly, thank you to my fiance, Paige, back there. She's a partner to a police officer, and I can't thank her enough for what she does for me, and who I am and how I've gotten here is thanks to her for everything. And also thank you to the Explorers for being here, and yeah, thank you to everybody. Appreciate it.
Comment?
Yeah. Officer Tario, congratulations. Amongst a group of polished professionals, you stand out as the 2026 Officer of the Year. Just a testament to your dedication to the community, and just to hear what they say about you is just mind-blowing. That we have you here in our city, and thank you for your service. Thank you.
So being a police officer, as you all know, is a never-ending, changing thing that happens every single day. You never know whether your life's in danger or what situations you're going to be in. And I know that you've experienced that firsthand. So I want to thank you for you being here and your support to the city and your dedication as a police officer. And we have some great mentors in the back. We have a lot of officers who are retiring And so the ones that are left to raise up the younger ones as officers, I think we're all in good hands. And I appreciate their dedication to training you. And for your wife or your fiance, soon-to-be wife, police officers aren't the only ones who sacrifice. As a wife of a police officer, I understand that as well, and it's scary being married to a police officer when things happen that are outside of our control and we don't know, what happens from day to day. But I just want to thank you for choosing to serve our city, and we have a great police department and we have great protectors. So thank you.
Thank you. Is that your father back there?
No, it's one of my previous partners.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you for coming. I noticed that I heard that you worked for the sheriff department, so that's awesome. And to Clarissa back there, 3 years, 3 short years, you could be officer of the year and follow Officer Tario's lead. And just looking at your smiling faces and just tells me that we have a really, really good program here, and I appreciate everybody, and especially appreciate you in 3 short years being our Officer of the Year. Thank you.
Congratulations, Chris, for being Officer of the Year. I'm looking at the explorers at the back of the room and how they've been standing at attention the entire time. And I noticed that before I heard the chief mention that you are one of their advisors. And so I can see the good job you're doing. Keep up the good work. Thank you for your service to our community.
Yeah, I'll just finally say, one of the greatest, I think, greatest gifts when it recognitions when it comes to anyone is to be selected among your peers. And so, which tells me you've been doing a great job. And so we appreciate the work that you've done for the city and the work that we know you're going to continue to do for us, keep us all safe. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. And we're going to move on to some photos.
Yes.
And so we'll take a photo of you first. You have family, any family you might have. Then we'll have the members of the PD and the explorers come up. And then Clarissa, will have you come up after and with your family.
She's also a phenomenal photographer.
Councilmember Goma, your face is hidden.
We can't have that. Got a microphone in the gut.
1, 2, 3. Squeeze in. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Hold on, I'm gonna do that again. Who is?
Well, we got
You ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Then how about she wants to get in the middle?
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Okay, we're going to move on to our second presentation is a National Public Works Week proclamation, an annual update from, we're going to have our proclamation from Councilmember Perez, but we're going to welcome who's already at the podium. So go ahead with the proclamation.
Thankfully, it's short. National Public Works Week Proclamation, Rooted in Service, Powered by Community, May 17th through 23, 2026. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Port Hueneme. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services cannot be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the city of Port Hueneme to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. Whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Port Hueneme does hereby designate the week of May 17th through 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week and urges all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advancing quality of life for all.
Right, over to you.
All right, good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, audience, and staff. It's been a year since our last update, so I'll try and get through this kind of quickly. I know we have a long evening, so here's what we've been working on over the last year. As you all know, we just recently finished the Hueneme Bay Alley resurfacing project that went fairly smooth. We had a few complaints, but overall it went really well. Hopefully the residents there appreciate the work that was done, and I know they'd been anxious to get it completed for a while now, so hopefully that keeps them happy for the short term at least. We also did a resurfacing project over in Surfside Village. You can see there on the left, there's a picture of kind of what the streets were, some areas of the streets looked like before it was done, and then you can see after, on the right-hand side there, what it looked like afterwards. I know that job went really well too, so hopefully that will serve for many years before we have to go back in and do anything over there. We're currently doing the water tank project over at the water agency. You have some photos there of what the interior of the tank looked like once we got on the inside there. So they are in the process of going through and refurbishing what needs to be done, and then also they'll go ahead and coat the tank, and that will keep us good for several years. We have an annual program where we go and do the school crossing upgrades. That one's a little bit interactive. I don't know if you caught that, but what it looked like before they did it and what it looks like now, rather than paint it, they tried out using the thermoplastic this year. It's more visible, it's supposed to last longer, so it looks really nice, and we'll continue to keep that an ongoing program. Bulker and Miranda Park, as you know, they both got new playgrounds. The Streets Division assisted with trying to cut costs down on that and demolished the old playground equipment, and our engineering group designed all the new sidewalk area there. It was in pretty bad shape, and it also made it ADA compliant. Excuse me, additional ADA updates that we're doing. You can see there's some work that's being done on the curb ramps. As we get into certain areas when they're in need of replacement, we're going ahead and the crews are demolishing the stuff and then re-asphalting, and we have a contractor come in and do the curb ramps. But that's an ongoing thing that as we get to areas where we're replacing those, we're making those ADA compliant. The fuel tank replacement, I know this has come to you guys before. We have the tank out of the ground, which was required by December 31st, so we didn't incur any fines for not having it out of the ground. We're currently have the tank being manufactured. It should be here sometime in June. We'll be going out to bid very shortly, and we'll hopefully get that back in the ground so we can get off of having to go off-site for fueling. Not only is it more expensive, it takes up staff time having to drive back and forth. So we're anxious to get that back in the ground and back in operation. The annual creek clearing, as you all know, that's a major drainage channel for us. So keeping that creek clear is important. It's an annual project that we do, and we've cleared quite a bit of reeds out of that creek every year. They grow back very fast. Wastewater side, this is some pictures here that are showing 2 of our lift stations had their wet wells redone, which is where the pumps actually sit inside there, and the pumping takes place. But going ahead and getting those rehabilitated, which preserves the life of the structure and prevents us from having to go and actually redo the entire thing. So it's a cost savings, and it's extends the useful life of the original structure. The turf turnkey project, which you see sitting out in front here, we got a $700,000 grant for that, and they're done with City Hall. They're moved on to Miranda Park now. They still have more work to do there, but City Hall seems to be looking nice as the plants get bigger too. It looks more filled in. At first I was like, oh, it looks bare. But it's starting to grow in and it looks nice. Similar to the wet well rehabs, we do rehabs on our manholes as well to preserve the structure, saves money, helps prevent service interruption. So we have a program that annually we are going throughout the city and getting a number of those done each year. And our streets crew helps with these and doing some of the surface work. That way we don't have to contract that out. One thing we hadn't included in any of the years in the past is we wanted to make sure that we shined on our administrative staff. Claudia is in the top left, Jocelyn in the top right, Evelyn there in the center, and Sherry on the bottom right. Literally, you can see it says there that they're connective tissue of the department, and it's true. Everything starts with them and ends with them, because they're issuing the things to get done, and then they're closing everything out, tracking receipts, going through and entering everything in our software system. So yeah, without them, things would be infinitely more difficult. So we appreciate them and wanted to make sure we highlighted them. We had one camera shy person, Nevelia, but she is also a part of that group. The streets division, as you can see the stats up there of what we have. We have a lot for a small city, but we also have a small group of staff too, so they do an amazing job on keeping up with everything on, everything from potholes to sidewalks to tripping hazards, you name it. They assist other divisions as necessary, as we showed in the wastewater slide. They also help water division when they're doing water line repairs. So a lot of stuff that the streets division does. The water division, again, the stats of what our system is, and we'll hear more about that at the end of the evening tonight. Yeah, taking care of line breaks, service leaks, customer service, you name it, they're out there doing it. Plus the group also does all the operations of the Port Hueneme Water Agency, so they're constantly busy. Which with the water agency, again, there's some work that's going on there. They did some major upgrades to the network. A lot of equipment at the plant. So that needs to be calibrated, worked on, checked. So they're doing that, as well as, again, another picture there of the water tank, the repairs being done. Water line upgrades, the Hueneme Road line, I know we've mentioned it in the past, so that's currently, we're locating utilities, design's already begun. This is also kind of gonna be in conjunction, I know, with the grant that we did with the port. If that comes through, we wanna make sure that we have this line in place before we end up resurfacing the entire road, because the last thing we wanna do is put in a line after we get a new road. So that's going on. Our solid waste, just some pictures of our different equipment that we have there. You can see the stats up on the top right. And as you all know, we reinstituted our community cleanup this year. From what I understand, that was a very big success. People were very excited about it. And we're working on planning other events in the future, so that went really well. Our fleet division, again, just a bunch of stats, but for a while we've had only one mechanic, so he's been very hard pressed to try and keep up. We've sent some equipment off-site to help ease the burden on him, but we have another one that will be coming in hopefully within the next few weeks. But they handle everything. Every piece of equipment that the city owns goes through that garage. So whether it's for preventative maintenance or for corrective maintenance, everything goes through the garage. Our landscaping crew, obviously maintaining our parks, our city facilities, a lot of cleanup after we have storms there. They've got a great group of people that do a great job of maintaining everything. You can see we have 4,000 trees, a lot of open space, the beach, park itself. It's a lot of work, but they do a very good job. Our engineering group, again, nearly 350 permits were issued through the engineering group, besides project management, going after grants, doing inspections, design, and as you all know too, we've spent an enormous amount of time on the Surfside Motel project. So there's a lot going on there, and you'll see here in a minute there's going to be a lot more too. Mentioned the grants. There's a list of the grants that we applied for and got. Some of that work will be coming, and you'll be hearing more about that as it gets here. And we are always on the lookout for new grants that we believe we will be eligible for. So we'll continue to do that. The wastewater, as you know, a while back we got a new camera truck. So they have been out actively going through our entire system, getting an upgraded asset report on it. So we'll use all of that data to prioritize future improvements. The emergency response here doesn't often go said, but Public Works crews are first responders as well. As you all know, we've had some instances where we've had some negative circumstances, and Public Works is on the scene when those types of events happen, along with our PD, and work very closely with PD when stuff like that happens. So I'm not going to read this, but essentially a lot of people don't really have a good understanding of what Public Works really entails, and it's more than just doing the maintenance of water, sewer, and trash, and that type of things. You know, it's being responders, being responsible, and taking care of things, keeping things clean. As you can see, there's some information there that talks about how sanitation benefits in so many different ways, and the public works crews are usually at the front of that list when this type of stuff happens. And here's a list of a bunch of things that are going to be coming up. So hopefully we'll have a lot of these done in a year from now when I'm standing here and talking about what we've accomplished. And we've got several water line projects, paving projects, utility rate study, just a whole bunch of things that are there. And we'll be continuing. Some of them, like I said, are annual items that we'll do pieces of at a time over the course of several years. But we have a lot of stuff in the pipeline, and hopefully in a year from now, we'll be able to come back and look and say, yeah, we got that all done. And with that, if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer.
Any questions?
Sure.
Any questions?
Couple questions. I recall the Bubbling Springs Creek. The Bubbling Springs Creek, there was some kind of biodegradable additive that you were gonna use to slow down the, those aggressive weeds that grow in there.
Mm-hmm.
What was the outcome?
Did we get started with that yet? Yeah, because there's.
I know
a
you
lot
guys
of,
are working through EPA. and,
Yeah, well, we need to, because there's a lot of testing that goes on, because they want to make sure that you're applying it in the proper way. So you get baseline data out of the water, and that way, after you're done, then you pull samples to make sure you're applying it correctly, so you're not hurting any of the wildlife or even the other biota that's in the stream. So
The camera truck, the borescope truck, and initially I had little reservations with it, but I've been seeing it around town, so we're getting a lot of good training out of that.
Yes. Luckily, we also have one of our operators was familiar with the equipment already too, so he's able to kind of just get in there and get going with it. So yeah.
Do you guys have to do like cross training for that?
Yeah, for the camera operations, yes, because you need to know like there's codes that are connected to the software. So as the camera's traveling down the line, the operator's looking at this and just hitting in the numbers of codes that you see. So that way, when it's all done, it will prioritize what's wrong with that line and tell you where and how severe the what it's seen. So there is training that goes with that, and then we have multiple people that will be doing all of that.
So my regards to the crew, all PHW, Public Works. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Look forward to seeing what we complete next year.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions. Are we just doing questions or can we do comments?
You, at this point, this is just a presentation, so we don't have an action for this, so you can ask.
Okay, so I just want to say thanks to the entire department, everybody that's under you, from landscape to roads to every department that we have. I know that you have many projects that you do and many projects that you wish you could do, and you're restricted by budget issues or time, or just because the fact that you have small teams and you just can't get to everything because you're always busy. But I appreciate the work that you do. I know a difference when I come into the city, no matter which side of Oxnard or which area I enter, you always know when you come into Hueneme, because our streets look better, our grounds look better, everything just looks better. So I appreciate the dedication that your crews have. And I know, for instance, the codes that require you to wait are the permits, actually, to clear out Bubbling Springs. You can't clean it when you want to, because it's got multiple agencies that prohibit you from doing what we wish we could do with it. So you only have a certain amount of time a year, correct?
Yes.
To clean that out. That's why I hear a lot of this. So I'm hoping the public would pay attention to some of the little things that they don't understand about some of the stuff that you have to do, that it's not that you don't want to clean it out, it's that anytime you just can't. We have only a certain amount of time a year that you can even go in there and touch that area. So I do appreciate the work that you guys do. So thank you for being a great leader.
Thank you.
I'd like to congratulate our city manager for making an excellent choice in promoting you to Public Works Director. And I think you've risen to the occasion, and we could see it in your team. And it's just a pleasure to see how you've grown into this position. How long have you been Public Works Director now?
Almost 3 years.
Yeah, so again, we hire the city manager, and the city manager makes good decisions, and we could see them working out. And so to you and your entire team, thank you, and just keep up the great work.
Thank you.
I had a question first about Bubbling Springs. What time of year do you clean that out? That's one thing that I'm not able to answer when I get questions from our constituents.
September to March.
September to March, okay. And I want to extend my deepest gratitude for you, your management team, and all your staff, especially thank you for recognizing the admin staff, the ladies in the background who are the driving support for all the work that gets done out there. You truly are the reason that we enjoy the quality of life that we have here in Port Hueneme. You touch everything from safety to water to health and our parks, just everything. And you guys do amazing work. You're truly the unsung first responders as well. So thank you so much, and please extend my thank you to your department.
Thank you.
Yes, and I agree, and thank you for your leadership. How do you feel about a photo? Come on up, let's take a photo.
Go on, Charles. Dennis.
Charles and Dennis.
Yeah.
Want to go down there?
I remember last time you were not really privy to taking multiple photos.
Mayor Pro Tem, you scoot this way a little. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, and we're going to move to our next proclamation. We don't have anyone to present it here tonight, too, but we're going to have Councilmember Gama go ahead and read it.
Thank you. So this past weekend, the Filipino Nurses Association of Ventura County had their 40th annual get-together at the OPAC, and really, I had planned to go, and I had a conflict with my wife. I didn't check. So anyways, Louis Mendez filled in for me, and he had a wonderful time. And in case you didn't know it, Filipinos are a part of the Asian American community. And our community is blessed to soon have opening the Angela Dulao McPherson Museum Philippine Cultural Arts Center. So that's going to be opening up here soon in the city of Port Hueneme. So with that, I'm going to read this proclamation. Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, May 2026. Whereas Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month is observed throughout the United States in May to celebrate and honor the significant contributions and vibrant cultures and diverse histories of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. And whereas the month of May commemorates the first Japanese immigrants' arrival to the United States on May 7th, 1843, and the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad of May 10th, 1869, significantly contributed to by Chinese immigrants. And whereas the city of Port Hueneme takes pride in the vibrant AAPI community, whose members have profoundly enriched our city through entrepreneurial spirit, dedication to education, military service, public service, arts, culture, and community leadership. And whereas despite the invaluable contributions of Asian American Pacific Islander individuals, we recognize the historical and ongoing challenges faced by these communities, including discrimination, exclusion, and hate crimes. We reaffirm our city's commitment to inclusion, respect, and equity for all residents. And whereas during Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we honor the legacy and the perseverance of Asian American Pacific Islanders, individuals who have shaped our community, state, and nation. And we commit ourselves to fostering understanding, appreciation, and unity within our diverse city. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Port Hueneme hereby recognizes and proclaims the month of May 2026 as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We encourage all residents to celebrate and deepen their understanding of the rich heritage and contributions of Asian Americans and Pacific Islander communities. Proclaim this 18th day of May 2026. Yes, and our community is, we have a lot of Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, and it's a great thing to see when you come to Memorial Day at Hueneme Beach. You can see the coming together of all these different cultures in our beautiful city. So thank you. And I think without objection that maybe we could present this to the Philippine Cultural Arts Center there. Okay.
Yes, sounds great. Thank you for reading that. We're going to move on to the consent calendar. Madam Clerk, are there any public comments for the consent calendar?
No public comments for consent.
Great. Our consent calendar will be enacted in one motion unless someone would like to pull an item. Any items to be pulled?
I'd like to pull item 3.
Item 3? Any other items to be pulled? Is there a motion and a second for the remaining items?
I move that we approve items 1 through 6, except item 3.
Second?
Great. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Okay, we'll move to item number 3. It's the second reading and adoption of the ordinance amending Article 3, Chapter 3, Division 10 of the Port Hueneme Municipal Code to implement restrictions on parking of oversized vehicles, adoption of the resolution establishing an oversized vehicle parking permit fee, and receipt of an outreach and implementation plan. Over to you, Councilmember Lopez.
Yes. I know this is the second reading. I came back and took another deep dive on this. And so we have a permitting service online. And the way I read this is we are anchoring the administrative permit process within the police department rather than utilizing our existing online civic billing or front counter customer service. Is that correct?
Yes. Would you like me to explain why?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. So
So-
for the residents.
Yeah, and I think the primary reason why is because generally with other permits that are, sort of by right permits, you can go on and apply for it and get almost like an automatic approval. Whereas with this, it's going to be more of having to explain to our traffic team why you have the need for the oversized vehicle, what justification it is, and I would say there's a good chance, maybe, I don't know exactly what it is, 50-50 or what have you, that it ends up being rejected, right? If you don't meet all those qualifications and you don't have a good basis to have an oversized vehicle that's allowed by the code. So it's really going to be vetted by the traffic enforcement team. And then for that reason, we have it going through them where it's just taken directly to the traffic enforcement team.
So there's not going to be a way to pull the permit online to pre-fill in?
Well, we could, we will establish a form, so we could do a form online, and then that way they could fill it in and then bring it in, but it would be in person because of needing to go through and review it with the traffic team. So.
Okay, so a lot of times the windows, there's no one at the windows, or we're going to be staffed for this.
We are staffed for it. We will make sure that we have, and today with our traffic team and our parking team we talked about today that are backing each other up and working together, we'll make sure that it goes through those teams. So.
Okay, and then last question. It talks about a rolling 90-day period, but it doesn't specify the lifespan of the permit. So reading that, is the permit, the person seeking the permit going to initiate a timeline? Like, what's the maximum time?
Yes. So that's where it kind of goes with the first part of the question where we were saying that it's going to be really having to go through the need for it with the parking enforcement or our traffic enforcement team, really having to explain the why you need it, where you're going to be located, how you're going to be following all the rules, and then what the period you'll be using it for. I don't believe the permit had anything other than that 90-day notification note on it, but the permit would be for the time period needed. In other words, if somebody comes to the team and they work through it and they say, I need to park my RV on the street for the next week because I have this need, then the enforcement team would work through that with them. Do you really need it there for a week, or could you have it there for less time than that, or, and they'd work through that. And that's where, like I said, the first part of the question is it's not as simple as just like a checklist that just says, like, if you check these boxes, you have a 90-day permit. Like, that's not the intent, right? It's the intent would be more, okay, we're working through it, and where you're located and where you're going to have your vehicle, and you have a good reason to have it there for the next 7 days, and that's what we're going to allow you.
So it'll basically needs driven by the person seeking the permit?
Right. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
got it.
Yep.
All right, those were the two questions I had. Thank you.
Thank you. I did have a couple of questions. So you just said based on need, is there going to be something in place that will prohibit someone asking for the maximum amount for the same is it $16?
$16.
$16, yeah.
Yeah, so those are the kind of things I'm thinking about. I mean, could someone, even if they needed it for a week, could they just say, oh, I need it for whatever the 90 days, whatever the max is, and pay the $16? And then, and when you're answering that, answer this one as well. So what happens when the vehicle doesn't need to be remained parked 24/7 and is moved? How does someone else not use those spaces that are identified, if there are spaces identified?
There's no identified spaces. This isn't reserving parking in any way. It's just allowing parking.
Yeah, but
if
there
it's
was some
available.
comments about having to identify adjacent to your home or near your home where you will be parking. So when someone has a parking permit and there's no space there where they have identified, then what?
So it's not I think, I see the chief coming up. You want to speak to it?
As it's written,
And-
it'd be the same as anybody else. It's just first come, first serve availability, but the permit can restrict to certain areas where that permit is valid, so they can authorize it for a
guaranteed
particular
space.
block. But if it's not available, it's not available,
Yeah,
just like
so-
anybody else.
Thank you.
trying to
So that's
park
part
there.
of my question. If you are identifying a place and you don't have space and you park somewhere else, now are you going to be ticketed?
You would
No,
be,
not in
out-
your
your permit would not be valid anywhere other than the space it was
But
defined
To
for.
give you a good example, we just don't want somebody to take an oversized vehicle because they need it because they're getting their RV out and they're getting it ready for the weekend, or they have a maintenance to do on it. We want to help a resident out, but we can't have them taking over and, say they live on Ventura Road and their RV is going to put them into the number 2 lane and take up the bike lane, total safety issue. We may authorize it to park it on Clara or Pearl, like if it's the neighboring streets, we'll say you can put it there temporarily, but if you put it here, it's going to be a nighttime hazard. That's all. It could be the person who says we're fumigating our house, and then I want to guard it, so they want to put it in front of their driveway for the 3 days. I get that. So that's why we want to be able to work with people on it. That's why it's going to be rational decisions to try to help residents.
But I still haven't heard anyone say what is the maximum time frame someone could park their vehicle.
Situation.
Yeah.
There's no maximum in the code. It's completely discretion on the issuance of the permit and the purpose for the permit.
I think I would sort of kind of try to remind everybody that the goal of this is we don't want oversized vehicles on the streets in problematic areas, right? So if somebody comes in and they have a really good reason and they need it there for an emergency repair or something, we might allow that for 24 hours, but there's no guarantee. You can't, we're not going to say everybody can have up to 90 days because we don't want them there for 90 days. But likewise, as the chief said, is we try to be reasonable and work with people. So if somebody comes in and they're way off of the beaten path and they're not a hazard to anybody and they need to pull it out for 2 weeks or whatever it is to do this thing, then we all those factors would be considered. But that's where I was saying it's not so much like a checklist, like check the boxes and you get a permit. It's really like we have to look and make sure you're not creating a hazard or, but
Case by case.
yeah, it's case by case, and you're not, there's no requirement that the city allow oversized vehicles to be there, right? So it's really case by case. If you can show that you're not a hazard and that it's necessary, then we'll work with you. So.
Okay.
One more question. At Surfside Village, we have a storage lot with oversized vehicles in, and occasionally my neighbor will pull out his motorhome and pull it in front of his house to get ready to go on a trip. Is that what we're trying to prevent, and is by parking that there for say 3, 4, 5 hours, is that subject to a ticket?
So the first exception is that a person may load or unload their trailer. So for example, when you ask that question, that's one of the first exceptions that somebody could say, I'm pulling out my RV to load it up with all my, camping gear to go for the weekend. That's allowed while they are actively loading or unloading. And then I would just note, because you actually hit one of the things I was going to say, which is you mentioned Surfside Village having an RV parking lot. And just again, remember that, RV storage lot, that people can park their RVs on their property or oversized vehicles on their property. That's not being impacted. This is about public streets. Yeah. So did you have something to add?
In a situation like that, Clarissa, Rachel, an officer, they'll probably run the plate. If it comes back to the house, they'll figure out that if they're not actively there with the doors open, loading and unloading, they may just go knock on the door. And they'll say, hey, we're loading it up, we're going to move it by noon. Be fine.
Okay, and I have one silly question.
100%.
There's a couple big boats in our lot. Does it become an oversized, like when you connect it to a truck, same thing, like suddenly you're taking up, half the street because some of these boats are pretty long. Would that be considered an oversized vehicle?
I believe there's a trailer section. but-
Yes,
It
there's
goes on length,
Length?
Yeah, I think
25 feet, or then the height, 84.
No, there's separate sections for oversized
Okay.
vehicle and for trailer. So if you go to the F section, in section 2 of the ordinance, subsection F, it is unlawful to park or leave standing any trailer that is attached to a vehicle capable of moving the trailer in lawful manner upon any street or residential commercial zone. So there's a separate section, but it's specifically for whether it's a boat trailer, a utility trailer, or any other kind of trailer. That's covered as well. It's the same restriction.
And I would say just keep in mind, because it's like, I know, especially when we're adopting these things, we'll think about like, well, what if somebody has a really good reason to do this? But keep in mind that if you're living on Panoma or Bolker and somebody parks their truck with a trailer and takes 3 parking spaces, you're not happy with that, So we do get those calls from time to time of people who are saying, hey, somebody's taking up all the parking, and they could have unhooked their trailer and left their trailer, somewhere else. So.
Right.
So again, those are just the issues we're looking at, but there is a trailer section specifically for trailers.
And then just one last comment or question. So if I said to my cousin, yeah, bring your motor home, park it in front of my house for a couple days, that's obviously what we're trying to.
Or get a permit for that.
Get a permit.
There is
yeah.
a process for exactly what you just described.
Yeah, but just because he has a motorhome and wanted to camp in front of my house, that might not be a valid reason, but.
One last question. So that we had comment, last time we spoke about this topic, about multiple vehicles, work vehicles. So is there a limit? Is there a one permit per resident kind of thing, or?
There's not a specific limit. It doesn't say only one permit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember it saying anything about one limit. Limit one permit at any time. I think that's just again where it would go to our team working with them and looking at, is it an area where there is no parking and one house is trying to get 12 permits to take the whole street up, or is it an area where there's plenty of parking and somebody has a good reason why they, maybe somebody needs to park them there because there's an emergency at their workplace and they just need it for 2 days and there's plenty of parking. Well, that would be handled differently. So there is, as written, there is some, some common sense that's gonna have to be applied, which, sarcastically, it's easy when it's a checklist. It's harder when there is some of those things, but.
The application does require disclosure of any other permits that have been issued to that person within the prior 90 days. So they are looking for either multiple vehicles or just continually renewing of the same vehicle. That is part of the application process.
Okay. Any other questions? No?
Yeah, if I could just summarize it with the point that we are attempting to try to make something that is workable and that we can be reasonable with people. And so, the more you have just like a definite, you cannot or can do this thing, then the harder, the more times we're gonna run into issues. But the way we set it up was an attempt to really be able to work with people as long as people are being reasonable.
Yeah. And the only thing I'm kind of, in my mind, I'm dealing with is, when there are, and this sounds really good, I'm really for it, but when there are no checklists, then people don't always, they're not treated the same. And sometimes that's difficult for people when they can say, oh, they did it, why can't I do it? So that's kind of what I'm just talking through.
Yeah.
Okay, are there anything else, any comments or anything?
I have a comment.
Okay, do we have any, we already did public comments, so go ahead with your comment.
Yeah, it is clear that the reason why we're doing this is public safety. Ventura Road, by far, there's been deaths on that road with bikers, people on bicycles. So the need is warranted. I guess what the little sticky thing is the tradespersons who are going to be in the residential areas who have big vans, and so I'm, next year, as this continues to filter through the city, I'm waiting for public to come in and see how we did, but this is it's a good start.
Thank you.
Great, if there are no other comments, is there a motion and a second?
Move to approve, item 3.
Second?
Great, Madam Clerk?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you. We're going to move to our public hearings. Number 7 is to adopt resolution granting 5-year special use permit, number PHSU 26-7, authorizing the Port Hueneme Police Department and Police Explorers to host 2 annual Hueneme Beach Car Show fundraising events at the Hueneme Beach, including ancillary live entertainment, stage, food, and vendor booth, and determining that the event is exempt from CEQA. Madam Clerk, do we have proof of publications as required by law and a complete set of files and reports and exhibits?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Great, thank you. Staff, please present the report. Over to you.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, members of the community, and staff joining us. I will be co-presenting with the applicant here, Frank Montelongo. And so I'll narrate some of the slides here, and then he'll take over as far as the event details. This request is for the City of Port Hueneme and the Port Hueneme Police Explorers for Hueneme Beach Car Show fundraising events 2026 through 2030. This is a special use permit request, PHSU-26-7. The applicant request is the Hueneme Beach Car Show fundraising events 2026 to 2030 to continue as a public event featuring a car show, live entertainment, food, and vendor booths. The event is proposed to be held twice annually from 2026 through 2030 on the second Sunday in June and one Sunday in October, dates to be set annually from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. October proceeds will support the Police Explorers Turkey Drive, and City Council approval is required for this October 2026 event as it was not captured with the previous approval of the 5-year cycle, and all events forward from 2027 to 2030. There's approximately 1,500 patrons per day that attend this event and 150 to 275 show vehicles on display. General information, a special use permit is before the council's review based on Municipal Code Section 10355D2 because the event will be held at Wainimi Beach Park and there will also be the closure of Ocean View Drive. This project is further categorically exempt from CEQA as a temporary car show event at an existing developed facility, will have no permanent site changes or expansion of use, and no significant environmental impacts will be present.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, fellow council members. As we continue the car show layout, the Ocean View Drive will be used as the main entrance walkway for the event to include informational booths, the registration booth, all of our food vendors, and general retail stalls, similar to what we use for the beach festival. Parking lot B will be used to host the live entertainment, main stage, and participating vehicles. The remaining east of Ocean View Drive and parking lot C will also include the remaining participating vehicles for parking. The Wainimi Beach will have no impact to the sandy beach throughout the event, and Surfside Drive will remain unchanged and open to the public. As you see here, this is the layout what we've done from the past for the car show. Similar footprint to the the beach festival, but it will have the main stage in lot B towards the northeast end, and then the majority of the area will be all the vehicles that we parking during the event. As you can see here in the photos, these are just some photos from past events. On the top right, you have a photo of former Explorer Angel Ortiz, who's actually one of our reserve officers there presenting one of the awards. And then we've had VC rides there at the event in the past taking photos for us. During the event for security, the event security will be provided by the designated police Explorer advisor overseeing the explorers throughout the event and the police reserve officers as well. We're proposing parking to be free for parking lots A, Lot E, and on Surfside Drive as in the past. All vendors, staff, and entertainers will park in parking lot E, and accessible parking will be available in parking lot A and throughout the remainder area of the beach area. Surfside Drive will remain open to help with parking and circulation. The fiscal impact will result in parking will be free for the event, therefore there will be no revenue collected from lots A, B, or C, or along Ocean View Drive and Surfside Drives during the event.
Strategic plan consistency. This touches on 3, innovation and opportunity, retain and maximize opportunities for local businesses as the backbone of our community, optimize levels of service for residents and businesses, support and establish programs and events that create a strong sense of community pride and a connection to our history and our heritage, and finally, safe, security, and beautiful community, upgrade our beach, park, city-owned facilities and structures to provide a better experience for our residents, employees, commuters, and visitors. The recommendation before you is to adopt the resolution that conditionally approves special use permit PHSU 26-7 and to find the project to be categorically exempt from CEQA. We're available for any questions.
Are there any questions? Councilmember Lopez?
Okay, so I noticed in the 2022 previous authorization of the car shows, we went from 1 in June to now 2.
Correct.
Is there a reason?
Yes, we're looking to expand our car show again, like we mentioned in the presentation, to help support our turkey drive. So one of the things the explorers do as they earn their merit ribbons is a community service project. So in order to do that, they have to have 100 hours of various community events or service projects that they do to the community. So one thing we've been doing in the years past is the explorers have been doing the turkey drive, as a lot of sponsors or organizations that used to help subsidize that in the past has kind of they get dissolved, as you could say, or we're not getting as many donations. So we wanted to use the second car show as an opportunity to help raise money for the turkey that we provide to the community that following month.
Got it. And then I saw the fiscal impact for the parking, but in the staff report, it does talk about porta potties and dumpsters. How is that funded?
The explorers, as part of our car show, we pay for the restrooms at the event. We bring in, depending on the vendor we use, we bring in the restrooms on the entrance near Lot E and in Lot B as well for the event.
So with the trash?
The trash that is we've done in the years past, we just use the normal trash cans that are out there at the beach, and there's been no huge impact from the car show to that from what's already out there on the beach?
So, I go a lot of Port Hueneme Little League fundraisers and baseball games, and someone asked, like, hey, I was trying to do a car show out there at the beach, and the process is I got to go through Frank. That's the word, right?
I could comment on that. That actually is not true. I do know the DJ we have used in the past is something that he says, and we have repeatedly told him that he could go and make those applications himself, or any organization could do it. So that is not true, and I wouldn't say that's a fair statement, because we have never, the Explorers, myself, or any of the advisors, had never said that we own the car show or the beach, because nobody owns the beach, and we said they could do the application. Now, if they were requesting that the Explorers do the car shows for them, that's something we won't do, because that doesn't fall along the lines under our nonprofit, because we do the fundraising for ourselves. So if that organization wants to do a fundraising car show for themselves, they could submit the application and do it themselves.
Got it.
Can I just add there quickly that I also just want to note our economic development plan that we adopted a couple years ago actually includes a goal that the city would activate the Hueneme Beach much more often than in the past. So I think in the past, maybe in the past there was more of a concern about having, or keeping it to only like one car show, or, whatever that may have been from our permitting process. But for us, with that new goal of our economic development plan, we actually want to encourage more events at the beach, and we're trying to go out and kind of work and do that. And so we did note in the staff report too that that we would encourage more events at the beach this year, and that the only thing we were going to recommend was just a 30-day buffer between car show events, just for the courtesy of the neighbors to not have the noise weekly. So that's what we were proposing between our economic development plan and what we're proposing in this. So.
Yeah, so that's my last question is the report mentions a 30-day blackout period for car shows, but it says car shows. So does that mean if someone was going to do, say 2 weeks later, they're going to do some soccer event on the beach, does that preclude that?
I don't think it wouldn't preclude that. I think what the reason why I suggested that 30-day buffer between car shows, and the reason why I suggested it was because of specifically the only event that we have gotten noise complaints about in the 4 years I've been here was a car show 4 years ago. Because before we had changed the speaker orientation and all that, that was one of the neighbors who lived next door. So I just knew that some of the neighbors are maybe a little predisposed to think that the car show means that it's going to be loud, so that we would kind of try to space those out as a courtesy to the neighbors. But if it's soccer, similar to the last question, when we get these permit requests, we'll look at like a lot of the circumstances, and if it's like soccer and there's no loudspeakers or anything else, then that would be no issue. So, but if I think the council's aware of this. A couple years ago, I was trying to work out summer concert series, and we were going to try to do the same thing where we were going to do one a month, because at the same time we're trying to activate the beach. We also don't want the neighbors to feel like all of a sudden we're bringing way more noise than we've ever brought in. So it wouldn't preclude other events. I think we just want to try to manage the ones that we think are going to be louder than the others. So.
Okay, thank you. Those are the only questions I had.
Any other questions? Nope.
So primarily, your car show, or the Police Explorers car show, is a targeting Ventura County car enthusiasts? Is that?
We try getting the information out to as many individuals as possible. I think historically it's been Ventura County residents who come out, but we do put it like on the car show threads throughout California, and it just depends who comes to the events. We've had people come from as far as San Luis Obispo, Bakersfield, when they see the flyers. So it varies.
Right, because anybody could say, I want to do a car show, but what I've seen is that you do a masterful job in the amount of cars that show up, the quality of the cars that show up. And so if anyone's out there thinking it's really easy to put on a car show, I don't think it is. But the work that you put into this, and the number of cars that show up, speaks for itself. There's nothing easy about it. Is that correct?
Correct, yes. And our main priority as well during the car show is maintaining the safety of all the participants of the vehicles and the pedestrians as well, because they could get out of control very easily. So that's one of our big focuses, and everyone knows that our car show, we're very strict on our rules and to maintain, I guess, continuity of the event and safety for everyone.
Yeah, absent the speakers, I think we've done a really good job in responding to the complaints that we did have about music, and now we have the speakers oriented other way, out to the ocean. But I just want to congratulate you, because I know it's easy to say you want to do something, but to pull something off at the success level that you've had so far is really, really strong, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. And then a comment on the speakers. We have addressed that issue, because like the last car show we had, we did bring in a vendor with larger speakers, which created an issue. And we even heard the feedback from our participants for the car show that we're not happy about that. So we're going back more to a scale down, more ambient noise music with the music from the DJs.
Oh, you just reminded me. One more thing.
One question.
Horns. Remember when the horns were going off? Sometimes people bring horns, and it was scaring
It
children.
was Pizza Man Dan.
Correct. Those usually are the ones inside of the vehicles. We try to minimize it, but
Yeah, let's
as we're leaving,
minimize
it's a little
those.
hard
I
to
saw a
control.
couple.
I think that it was the Touch a Truck event is the one
It
that,
was Pizza Man Dan.
and it was because it's the big trucks.
Yeah,
That
but
was
I think
the one that scared the kids. Yeah.
outlawing those big horns are a good idea, because I even jumped, but I saw a couple kids
Yeah.
like,
I think that was 2 years ago, and last year we asked them all not to use the horns. Yeah.
Okay, no more questions? All right, so we'll now open the public hearing for public comments. The time is now 8:06. Madam Clerk, are there any public comments?
No public comments.
Great, so the public comment period has concluded, so I am closing the public hearing at 8:06. And so we have before us a recommendation to adopt the resolution conditionally approving special use permit number PHSU 26-7, Port Hueneme Police Department and Police Explorers Hueneme Beach Car Show fundraising event from 2026 to 2030. Determine that the project is categorically exempt from CEQA, and take such additional related action as may be deemed appropriate. May I have a motion and a second?
Move to approve?
Second?
Great. Any further discussion?
I have a comment.
I have a comment too.
Okay, great.
You know, as someone who actually owns a classic car, and I've attended many car shows, you know, they're fun. And, you know, I know this is a good fundraiser for the Explorers, and truly support this initiative. And thank you for your leadership in this. You know, maintaining good order and discipline is very hard in that environment. So hats off to that, you know, to you on that thing. But I might join this car show, bring my car in, and, you know, be proud of Port Hueneme and support the Explorers.
Great.
I think the Malongos should create their own event business. They do well with the beach festival and the car show. You guys could make a killing off of events.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for such a nice permit. It's very clean. I don't know if it's a new format, but it looks very good, and it includes all the key information that I at least am looking for, security and policies and the rules. And thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Any other comments? If not, Madam Clerk, please take a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Gama,
yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Perez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez,
Yes.
and Mayor McQueen LaShawn.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you, and thank you for
Thank you.
your report, yes. Okay, we're going to move to item number 8, public hearing pursuant to the Government Code Section 3202-3 AB 2561 regarding a report of City of Port Hueneme vacancies and recruitment and retention efforts. Madam Clerk, do we have the proof of publications as required by law and a complete set of files, complete file and report and exhibits?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Great, thank you. Staff, please present the report. Over to you, Mr. Lee.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. My name is Frank Lee, HR Risk Manager. Tonight, we'll be presenting our annual report in compliance with Assembly Bill 2561, which took effect January 1st of 2025. The law requires public agencies to hold a public hearing each fiscal year to report on vacancy status and recruitment and retention efforts. It also requires us to identify any policies or procedures that may be creating a hiring obstacle and to allow our recognized employee organizations the opportunity to make a presentation. And for the record, each employee group were provided this information and afforded the opportunity to speak tonight. The city's workforce is organized into 3 employee groups: management and unrepresented employees, which includes part-time staff, sworn and non-sworn personnel represented by the Port Hueneme Police Officers Association, and paraprofessional, technical, clerical, and maintenance positions represented by SCIU Local 721. As of April 1st, 2026, the city has 128 total FTE, full-time equivalent positions, and of those, not 10.5, 7 positions, FTEs, are currently vacant, and for an overall vacancy rate of 5.5%. Management and unrepresented sits at 5.9%, the Police Officers Association at 6.5%, and SCIU at 4.8%. We're able to successfully keep vacancy rates low with great emphasis on recruitment and retention. And as positions become vacant, we try to work with the department to hire in a replacement as soon as possible. And with that, staff recommends that City Council open the public hearing to receive testimony, close the hearing, and accept this informational report as required under Government Code Section 3502.3. We're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions?
I have questions.
Go ahead.
So we have, it's from the 2025 budget, there's 7 remaining vacancies. Is this safe to say that we're still in a hiring freeze?
I wouldn't say we're on a hiring freeze. We're currently filling positions that we currently are whichever are being vacated. So if those positions were already budgeted, we're filling those positions.
Yeah, and if I can add on, because I'm actually glad to be able to respond to this maybe for transparency too. So when the council adopted the budget, the 25 to 27 2-year budget, there were positions that were frozen at that time. And so what we have done is as other positions become vacant, primarily I would say retirements is what we seem to have the most. We then are filling those positions or swapping them with the position, because those positions that were frozen to balance the budget. So if we had like the community development director is kind of the prime example. When we adopted the budget, the director had just retired, so we froze that position. But then we had another community development employee retire, and so then we unfroze the director using the dollars from the other, the manager position. So we still have a few positions frozen that we had frozen, but we're looking at every position closely, and then we're filling ones in when they're critical. You may recall we filled a police officer position, and that was that we had a couple officers retire since the budget had been adopted, so we needed to fill those positions.
That's correct. So internal promotions kind of create that
that
moving opportunity, and we're still filling those positions.
Okay, so the law explicit, the law is explicit. It talks about employee bargaining units have the right to make the presentation during this hearing.
Yes.
And you mentioned, you kind of briefly touched on it, like.
Yes.
Did you get any feedback from them? Like, I will be at the meeting, I will make a presentation?
I did not. I just heard acknowledgement that got it received.
Okay.
Nothing more than that.
But they were aware of their right?
Yes.
Okay. You were explicit in that email?
Yes.
Per AB 2561.
I don't know how explicit. I told them that they have the opportunity to present at the council hearing today.
Okay.
Open
I think typically the only time I've seen any union actually take the chance to present was if somebody has exceeded the vacancy
20%.
rate. So we did send it to them. We told them they had an opportunity to present. We didn't really get much of a response, but I think that's because I think they just checked to make sure that we're not,
At the 20.
failing to recruit and retain. Yeah.
Okay. So we're at 128 FTEs. What do we think the right number is for our city staffing?
Staffing?
I'll take Frank off the hot seat and remind everybody that's me and the council will have to be the ones that decide that. Fortunately for the HR manager, he doesn't have to decide that question. I'm the one who loses sleep over that. But I think we've talked a few times about this over the last couple years that historically this was about the staffing level we had, and then I think those years where the cannabis revenues really increased, there was a spike in our staffing levels. And so we've been working back to what I would just call the more historical norm level. So I think, that's where we're aiming for. But like we talked about, the budget it's just going to depend on if other factors, sales tax continues to decrease, then we might have to keep looking at, that or cannabis tax can't really decrease anymore, but we're continuing to watch those, and then each of these years that we do our budget presentations with the council, we'll be going through that as one thing I think that I will say recently is I don't think we're on autopilot on any of this stuff anymore. I think we look at every single position, and so when a position does become vacant, there's really no more just like automatic, just fill it because it came vacant. And in our public works presentation earlier, actually one of the positions that was mentioned was the mechanic position, right? And that was an example where we tried out for a few months to see what it looked like to contract out, and then we saw that it's going to be more expensive to contract out than it is to hire, a staff person to do that. So we're moving forward with filling that position. So it's really feels like the theme of today is case by case basis and hard decisions, but. We're working on trying to right size.
So I guess the answer is 128 is close to right.
Close to a lot closer to right and close to right, I would say.
Got it. Okay, that's all I have.
Any other questions? Councilmember Gomez?
I'm just trying to recall what was our peak number of employees that we had during those peak times. I think it was like 138 or something, or.
I think it was like 145 or something.
I think that was we're close to 140, a little bit maybe over 140.
Yeah.
FTEs.
Okay.
You have any questions? Okay. If there aren't any other questions, the public hearing is now open. Oh, any public comments?
No public comments.
Okay, that's it. Open for public hearing, take public comments. The time is 8:17. You said there are no public comments, so we have opened it. Now we're going to close the public hearing. It is still 8:17. And so we have before us on your screens, on all the screens, is the recommendation.
Mayor, can I get your mic? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. There is. Okay. So the recommendations are on your screens, I'll give you a moment, and then ask for a motion and a second.
I move to approve.
Second.
Great. Any additional discussion?
I have comment.
Okay, go right ahead.
The staff report, is highly positive, demonstrating the city of Port Hueneme is an excellent position regarding staffing. 5.5 overall vacancy rate. The data looks good. The strategic plan of being an employer of choice is evident. So hats off to city manager, HR, staffing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Any other comments?
Yeah, I just think that over these positions that were eliminated were mainly management and at the service level that we've been very consistent in maintaining our service level employees, which is the mission of a city. So I really appreciate that being a priority and showing itself here in this report. So thank you.
Thank you. And I'll just add that, City Manager, I'm excited about your the time that you take to actually look at each position as it becomes vacant and look at other positions where there could be some adjustments. I think that for a city this small, that takes courage to do that and make the hard decisions. So I really, really appreciate it. I think that all organizations should really do that. So I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Thank you.
All right. If there is nothing else, let's see, City Clerk, would you go ahead and take?
Councilmember Gama,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Councilmember Perez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hernandez.
Yes.
And Mayor McQueen-Lejeune.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Lee, for your
Thank you.
And we'll move to item number 9, Police Department, 700 megahertz band compatible radio equipment purchase. And this is for Commander Anderson?
Commander Albertson will be
Albertson,
giving
yes.
that presentation.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of City Council, members of staff, members of the public. So what we have before you tonight is a staff recommendation that City Council approve a budget appropriation not to exceed $395,470 for the purchase of 700 megahertz band compatible radio equipment. Authorize the Chief of Police to execute a purchase order contract agreement with Telcom Inc. for the purchase and installation of the radio equipment, and approve the exemption to the formal bidding process as outlined in Municipal Code Section 2564, Subdivision B as follows. The City Council may authorize purchase of supplies, equipment, and services without complying with this chapter when the opinion of the City Council compliance with the procedure is not in the best interest of the city. So just to give a little bit of history, back on September 16th of 2024, City Council approved a MOU between the City of Port Hueneme and the County of Ventura for subscription to the County of Ventura 700 megahertz regional radio system. The regional radio system is specifically designed to provide a regionally integrated communications platform to enhance multi-agency interoperability. And then if you recall, on May 15th, 2024, the Ventura County Grand Jury issued a report on the regional radio system and issued the following findings and recommendations for the City of Port Hueneme. So F05, using the current system, first responders in multiple locations may lose communication. R05, the grand jury recommends completing the VCRRS MOU for consideration by the City Council by October of 2024. So for many years, the police department has been challenged with aging radio infrastructure and outdated portable and mobile radios. In addition to the aging infrastructure, the department upgraded to P25 digital back in 2013, while most other law enforcement agencies in the county remain on analog systems. This upgrade was not fully funded, which resulted in combining new and old radio equipment with old radio infrastructure. The upgrade to P25 impacted interoperability with other county agencies, the most significant of which was the Oxnard Police Department and the Ventura County Sheriff's Office. So the MOU with the county for the radio system allows the City of Port Hueneme to enter into an agreement with the County of Ventura to provide radio services, maintenance of all county radio infrastructure, and support services for the system. The contract's reoccurring cost is subscriber-based and depends on the number of radios connected to the system per month, allowing the police department to achieve interoperability between public safety agencies within the county. The estimated annual subscription cost for the police department to operate approximately 55 radios will be about $13,173, which will be incorporated into the annual budget process. When the MOU was executed, the ongoing police department communication center remodel had been unexpectedly delayed as a result of the citywide flooding incident that occurred in December of 2023. The remodel project is now fully completed, and the police department is ready to make the transition to the regional radio system. The regional radio system is P25 compliant. However, the department's current P25 VHS band radio equipment will need to be completely replaced to be compatible with the 700 megahertz band system. The dispatch consoles that were purchased for the communication center remodel are 700 megahertz compatible, but they'll require upgrades. The department applied for a federal port security grant to offset the cost of the radio equipment replacement. However, we were not successful on receiving that award. Staff recommends approving the exemption to the formal bidding process as outlined by the municipal code based on the fact that Telcom Inc. has a long, well-established working relationship with the department and a very intimate knowledge of the department's radio system and our communications need. Telcom was instrumental in engineering and completing the 2013 transition from analog to P25 digital, as well as being involved in the recent communication center remodel. We actually originally used an out-of-county vendor who didn't complete the project to our satisfaction, so Telcom Inc. was brought in to fix the P25 problems that we had with the first vendor. Telcom also recently renewed the department's VHF band FCC license for a 10-year period in order to retain the VHF frequency for emergency redundancy purposes. The total estimated cost of this purchase with sales tax, installation, and shipping from Telcom is estimated to be about $385,470. The request for the amount not to exceed $395,470 is to account for any contingencies to address unforeseen expenses. And then the following tables show comparisons for radio equipment replacement. We also got quotes from Motorola as well. The quotes from Motorola do not include the cost of labor for installation. And just to kind of explain the way the system is set up, there are two ways for us to tie into the system. We can tie directly into the multi-core, which will require very extensive engineering work, as well as some additional fees to Motorola because we're using our dispatch consoles are Intertalk. And to communicate with Motorola directly, it would require a licensing fee, plus the labor of having all that done. So what we did is we opted for option number 2, which is the less expensive. We didn't even cost the first option because it would have probably been in excess of $1 million. The second option is to connect to the system wirelessly using what they call consolettes or control stations. And so that's the option we selected. So you have the quotes in the staff report. I don't know how well you can see them up here. So the quote from Telcom, including all the equipment, config, and installation, is roughly estimated to be about $385,470.23. We would purchase Kenwood radios through Telcom. The Motorola package number 1, which would be the APX Next radio quote, for just the equipment is estimated to be about $534,045. For the next package for Motorola, the APX 8000, again, just for equipment, we're looking at about $556,305. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So for historical context, when we transitioned to the P25 in 2013, was there a reason like Oxnard and the county didn't jump to a digital frequency?
I'm sure there was, but I can't speak to why another agency opted to stay on analog instead of going to digital. The only two agencies in the county that were on digital were us and Simi Valley Police Department. We at one point shared a radio frequency with the Oxnard Police Department, and because of all of our shared borders, that was really important because then our dispatcher, who's oftentimes working alone, doesn't have to now call Oxnard Police Department and explain what's going on while they're also handling 911 calls and talking on the radio. Oxnard Police Department can listen to what we had going on, and so they knew in real time what was happening. When we went to digital, we couldn't communicate with Oxnard. Well, we could communicate with Oxnard on their frequency because our radios were analog and digital. They could not communicate with us on our digital frequency. And so it now creates that lag time when there's a critical incident. And just by way of example, 2013, we had an officer-involved shooting at the beach. Oxnard Police Department had no idea what was going on because they weren't listening. So by the time it got relayed to them, they didn't have a real operational understanding of what the situation was. It's something you want to avoid. This is part of the reason why the county opted to go to this regional system, is so that everybody can talk to each other.
So does Oxnard have a similar MOU in place?
Oxnard is currently, just recently went to the 700 megahertz system. Now, because of that, we can't communicate with them until we go to the 700 megahertz system.
So the package, I know there's a cost, $13,173 for subscriber fees once it goes live. Is this a flat fee?
It's so the way the system works, and this is actually, so the county actually got this cost way down, because when they first started this back in, I think, like 2017, it was a lot higher. They really did a lot of work at the county level with Sheriff's OES to bring that cost down for all the other agencies. So it works out roughly to about $19 per radio. You only get charged for the radios that are active on the system. So say an agency bought 80 radios, but only 30 were active, you only pay for the active radios.
Okay.
We anticipate having 55 radios active.
Okay, so last question, like the transition timeline, we make the purchase, what are we looking at as far as turnaround, going live, any training required or programming of the radios?
So the county will program the radios. Telcom will do some configuration at their shop, and then they'll do the installation. Just based on my experience with Telcom, we're probably looking at a pretty quick installation time. So I would say a couple months at the most. Now, of course, when you're dealing with radios or computer equipment, sometimes things come up, but we're anticipating that it's going to be relatively seamless. As far as the training, there'll be some, we're using Kenwoods now. Some of the Kenwoods we bought recently will be upgraded. That's what you saw, the 5 upgrades to the current existing radios in the quote. So most of the officers are already going to be familiar with the radio we're buying. We're just buying an upgraded version of that. So there will be some features that they don't have now that Telcom will come in and train them how to use, and they'll get it pretty quickly.
Okay, that's all the questions I have. Thank you for the staff report.
Any other questions?
When did you become an expert on radio commuters? It's like,
Over the
man,
last 9
we're
years.
so lucky to have you.
I know about that much. That's it.
Did you have anything? Okay. Madam Clerk, any public comments?
No public comments.
Okay. So we have before us to approve the budget appropriation not to exceed $395,470 for the purchase of 700 megahertz band compatible radio equipment. Authorize the Chief of Police to execute a purchase order contract agreement with Telcom Incorporated for the purchase and installation of radio equipment. Approve the exemption to the formal bidding process as outlined in Port Hueneme Municipal Section 20, Municipal Code 2564, Subdivision B as follows. The City Council may authorize purchase of supplies, equipment, and services without complying with this chapter when the opinion of the City Council compliance with the procedures is not in the best interest of the city. With that, may I have a motion and a second?
Move to approve.
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate you on taking something that seems to be very complicated and helping us to understand. And, we know that during the crisis time that being able to communicate to other agencies is super important. So I think the county's taking the lead here, and I really feel comfortable with the way you presented on this matter as a subject matter expert. And so I really appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you. If no other comments, Madam Clerk, please take vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Great. And Commander Albertson, thank you for your
Thank you.
report.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to item number 10, 2025 Water Master Plan prepared by MKN and Associates Incorporated. And will staff please present the report? Mr. Camarillo.
Good evening again, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, and those of us that are left. Just very briefly, before I turn it over to our consultant, what you have before you tonight is you're going to receive a presentation. You have a very large packet of 170-some pages of the actual report. But basically, this is an evaluation of the entire water system. So infrastructure, operational need, what we need long-term moving forward. The report itself also is perfect timing in that we're in the middle of our rate study. What the report generated will be very informational for including all of those assessments and projects and incorporating that into the rates moving forward. And I mean, this is going to be a roadmap for the long term of how and what we do in the city's water system. And with that, I will turn it over to Ryan Gallagher of MKN.
All right, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council, the coveted last position. All right, I'm going to try to speak boldly so you guys will pay attention. Sometimes water's not the most interesting, but tonight it will be. So, as you heard, my name is Ryan Gallagher. You're probably confused why that says Ardura and the title says MKN. MKN was acquired by a company called Ardura last year, so that's why we have the title change. But I am a principal I was a principal at MKN. I am still a principal at Ardura, and I also served as the project manager for this water master plan. Just wanted to kind of establish some credibility with you all. MKN and now Ardura has been working in the county for decades. We're currently working, you saw that tank project from your own tank. We did the design on that. So we're involved in a number of projects at Port Hueneme Water Agency, around the county, within the state, and then nationally, as you can see here. So lots of planning through design, and water is our primary focus. That's not why I'm here tonight. I'm here to talk to the master plan. So why would you do a master plan? I can imagine, just looking at your terms, you probably haven't seen a water master plan at the city before. It's because the last one was done in 2011. And so typically you want to do these every 5 to 10 years. So it's been a while since the last one. And it is a long-term planning horizon. And as you heard from your public works director, a major component of that is to facilitate the development of your rates. So when you go through your rate process every typically 5 years, you want to understand what projects feed into that, because that's mainly the driving factor a lot of times and what's increasing costs. And then of course, the main function, your primary objective in your water system is public safety and water quality. So you serve the public, and so we want to make sure that the system is able to meet the performance standards for your community. Our scope was to look at the existing and future demand. We developed a hydraulic model, and we analyzed under those conditions to help develop the capital improvement plan. And so that process started in October 2024, and through a 2-step process we completed earlier this year. And I do want to compliment your staff. It's been a pleasure working with them. They were very responsive, and you saw from the Public Works presentation, they are doing a lot. And they always turned up for the meetings, prepared with good insights and questions, and responding to data requests. So that's super helpful for us as consultants to be able to deliver it efficiently. So key results. This is the most important meat here. So overall, system meets overall demands. And really what that means is just that Port Hueneme Water Agency on the supply side is able to deliver the demands of your system. So that's sometimes an issue. It is not an issue with your city. You do not have a lot of growth. That's probably not a surprise to you. You have some ADUs, you have some infill projects, but mostly flat over the next 20 years. The major outcome would be the pressure deficiencies. And I think from talking to staff, you're likely already aware of that your system operates at a lower pressure. And because of that, and that's a major driver, you do have a number of fire flow deficiencies. Now, that is not unusual. Most cities have fire flow deficiencies. And so our projects will help address those. And really, this last bullet is the reason I put up this graph to the right. The graphic to the right is showing you those different colors are the materials of your pipelines. And so over time, over the decades, different pipeline materials were used. The red, that's the cast iron, that's fairly old, and it's met the end of its useful life. And because of that, the operators have had to lower the system pressure to keep from having too many breaks. And so that's a primary focus of our capital improvement program, and it's a major driver for those deficiencies. So there's 2 buckets that we put the capital projects into. The first is operational enhancements. That's mainly, that's shown in the orange there, or at least it should be orange, it looks almost red, but the orange are the operational enhancements, and those are mainly projects to replace those older pipes so that we can increase that pressure. There's a couple other projects that are wrapped into these. That's the asset management and the AMI meter replacement. For the first, this is an investment that would allow you to get a more clear picture of your system within a GIS program and to overlay that with an asset management software, which would allow your operators to more efficiently go through a repair and rehabilitation program year to year. This is a fairly standard. There's a lot of different programs and a lot of ways to do it, but that was a recommendation. And then the AMI meter replacement. You have manual read meters in your system now. They're reaching the end of their useful life, and so this is a good opportunity to replace those with more modern AMI meters. Those are less labor intensive. You already need to replace your meters, and the added benefit is that your community members actually get some additional information. So I can tell you we helped Channel Islands Beach go through a similar program several years ago, and so now they get notifications if they've signed up on their phones, whether there may be a potential leak. They get access to their water use. So there's some other tools that come with that. So the second bucket is the fire flow. And the reason I'm setting this up, and I'll walk you through this, is that the operational enhancements that we just outlined actually help address a big chunk of those fire flow deficiencies. So that circle on the left says 151 fire flow deficiencies. So when we ran the model, that's what we identified. And those different colors of gray, I'm not going to go into detail, they're in the report, but it's mainly different ways that they failed the fire flow analysis. When we go through and complete these 14 projects, we're going to address a major chunk of those. So that gets reduced from 151 down to 36. And so while they're called operational enhancements because we're replacing aging pipes, they actually have a fire flow impact as well. And then from those remaining 36, we identified 17 projects that will help address those. So those are mainly fire flow improvements. So the summary of this, we've got 2 buckets of projects totaling 31 total projects, $23.2 million. And we've got a 10-year implementation plan. And so the orange are front-loaded because those serve, we need to replace those aging pipes so we can raise our pressure. Those have the biggest impact on our fire flow deficiencies. And then we have our cleanup fire flow projects on the back end. That's the green. And that was my last slide.
Wow. That was quick. Questions? Go ahead. Go ahead, Councilmember. Let's start with Councilmember Gama this time.
Okay. Asbestos cement. What is it? Asbestos cement. I saw that on your slide. Could you explain to me what that is?
It's just it's a pipeline material that was really prominent in the 1950s. Yeah. And so the pipe can deteriorate and become brittle over time. And so it just begins to reach its useful life.
So do you put a pipe inside that? Is that how you increase pressure, by reducing the size of the pipe? Or do you have to dig it up and then handle it as asbestos tiles or the like?
So for AC pipe, the typical approach is just to abandon it in place, because when you remove it, it actually becomes, that's when it's can be impactful, is when it breaks.
Right, you have to
brittle.
handle
Yeah,
it
you gotta
as
bag it.
Yeah.
And so typically you would abandon it in place. For these cases, that would be our primary approach. It's just less expensive. And for pressure, you don't necessarily need a larger pipe. It's just the pipe material that would be able to sustain a normal pressure.
So do you, I don't even know the word, but force a smaller dimension pipe through the existing pipe, or are you actually going to dig it up?
We would, in this case, for your pipes, we would recommend abandoning in place, meaning we don't dig it up. It would be, we'd cut and cap at the ends, you put a concrete plug, and the pipe remains in place, and we would dig new trenches and install new pipe, and then tie those back into your system.
That's a lot. It's a lot of work because I'm trying to recall the green. Yeah, the green pipe is, the green area is the cement pipe.
Correct. And we're not, cast iron is the primary focus. So you can see the green is, as you said, the AC pipe. And then if you go to this, you can see there are some AC pipes that are being replaced, but not all of them. The primary focus in these initial years would be the cast iron.
And then when would the AC pipe become the focus, or would it be?
It's There are some AC pipes that are being replaced, but ideally you have enough to keep your plate full. So the AC pipes would come up as needed. And so in the case, I can tell you your neighbor, Channel Islands, we did some material testing and showed there was still some useful life. And so while often there is a book useful life, you'd also want to look at the conditions in place. So if you don't need to replace your pipes, I wouldn't say you should. And so in this case, we're not suggesting that right now.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
No, I don't have it. I was just, go right ahead. It's just crazy. That's a lot of pipe. Like 90%.
Okay,
of our
so the
city.
hydraulic modeling identified a few areas of pressure fire flow drop below optimal standards during high demand simulation. Which neighborhoods and commercial corridors face this issue?
So I don't have there's a detailed map in the master plan that would identify all 151. I can tell you, if you look at those fire flow, I pulled this map up on purpose. You can see they're fairly widespread. It's not necessarily that a specific corridor or area is going to be a challenge. Sometimes it just matters about the infrastructure in that proximity. You might have small diameter pipes and a larger demand in a specific area. So it may not be that you have one area of the city, especially because your city is very flat. Sometimes you might have that in other cities. But in your case, it's fairly dispersed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the report also notes that there are dead-end loops in the current city pipeline system that negatively impact water quality over time. How many of these loops does the short-term plan eliminate by looping or interconnecting these lines?
It's a very specific question. I'd have to get back to you on that. We'd have to pull up. I will tell you this, the master plan created project sheets on the back end, and that was done to help detail each of the projects. There's 31 different projects that group together some smaller projects, so I'd have to go through and look at exactly how many of those are.
I just figured it's dead water, like it's not moving, so
It's not always that it's completely dead. It's just you prefer to loop a system if you can. If there's an opportunity to do so when we do an improvement, we would try to do that. But you do have some amount of demand on there, but it can be stagnant. It's not an ideal situation.
I know where I live near Park Avenue, Bubbling Springs. My inlet water pressure is around 40 psi. It's not strong.
Oh yeah.
And I think the consensus is we crank that up, we'll blow water mains. So looking at that AC pipe, what's the pressure tolerance on that line?
So your system, by design, should be able to handle a normal system pressure, which in this case we would target maybe 65 psi, and that's what we're designed around. So when you say you were at 40 psi, that makes sense given what we're seeing in the model, because you have your connections to Port Hueneme Water Agency turned down to try to protect those older pipes. And what we've seen from the historical data and talking to the operators is that when that pressure gets cranked up, that's when you start to see these pipe breaks. So the focus in these, that's why we front loaded in these initial years the replacement of the cast iron pipes, which are really the problem for being able to get that pressure up. So we want to get those pipes replaced. We want to get that system pressure up because that's going to solve a lot of problems.
Yeah, my mind always goes to a major fire here in Port Hueneme where it's wind driven. We're just not going to have the pressure to fight that fire.
You saw from this slide here, we have 14 projects, brings your number from 151 down to 36. So it's a significant portion that we're able to address just by getting the system pressure up. Yeah. So, and I'll tell you that the reason that you can see how it's about $2.5 million a year. When we set these projects up, we go through a prioritization process. We score them based on which ones are going to have the biggest impact. We try to overlay them with your paving projects. Ideally, when you go in, you want to do the pipe at the same time as the paving. But we also consider your staff time. You have a number of other capital projects you're doing, and to manage these projects, even though you're using consultants and contractors, it takes time. And so, to your point, we would love to stack more of these up front, but we also have to consider your workload, your rate structure. But yes, that is at the highest priority, is getting those pipes replaced.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Can I just add something on this slide? So one of the reasons why we wanted to bring this today as well is that on our next meeting, when we talk budget, we will bring an updated CIP schedule. And so we're already building these projects into that CIP schedule. And then that will also lead into, obviously it'll impact our budget discussion, but it also will lead into that utility rate study that we've been working on, and these projects will also have to be included in that. So those are, it's all connected, it's all involved in all those other projects that we're working on at the same time. So you'll be seeing these projects and these dollars showing up in those reports coming back to council.
Any other questions?
I noticed on one of your slides, there's a big blank area in the middle. That's Naval Base Ventura County. And my understanding is that we provide them water. So who is going to deal with their infrastructure needs?
We
used to.
They deal with their own infrastructure needs. Port Hueneme Water Agency is a JPA formed, obviously, with City of Port Hueneme, Naval Base Ventura County and Point Mugu, and Channel Islands Beach Community Services District. So PHWA actually supplies water to you, to them, and to Channel Islands, all separately through different turnouts, and those costs are shared for capital and O&M based on those separate connections. So they run their own system. So that big blank area does have pipes in it, you just don't own or operate them. You have...
we have service pipe to deliver.
Port Hueneme Water Agency has a main pipeline that has turnouts off of it. You have turnouts off of that pipeline. I don't know if this has this doesn't have a laser. Pointing over there. by the entrance off
the little
Pleasant Valley, yeah. There's a turn.
Oh,
you
yeah,
have a
I
turnout
remember.
there, yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, and there was I think there was some clever, through the discussions with staff, coming up with some clever ways to keep costs down. If you go back to the 2011 master plan, we're actually, I want to say we're probably less money than was identified in there. So we came up with some pretty, getting the system pressure up was a good thought to solve multiple problems. You already need to replace your pipes. Let's do that front-loaded to solve the fire flow issues. But also looking at interconnects. So you mentioned the Navy base. There are interconnects that you have with Oxnard, that you have with Channel Islands, that you have with the Navy base, and those are emergency services, but they can be used to help address fire flow deficiencies. So we try to leverage those as well, instead of building up your piping infrastructure.
Any other questions? If not, do we have any public comments?
No public comments.
Great, thank you. Okay, so this is the receive and file? Okay, yeah, receive and file.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation, yes.
And bringing life to the end of the party.
Energy was
We're all
amazing.
awake now.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk water.
It only lasted like 10 minutes.
Yeah, right.
I thought it was going to be a
I know.
long-
Presentation. Water's usually like.
Take for granted.
Right.
It kills me. It kills me after a while.
We are going to move, we have no future agenda items. We'll move to our city manager's report.
I just tested it. The pointer does work. So. Yeah, it shows
Oh,
up.
it does.
Oh, wait. Where you
It shows up on all the screens.
Wait, you just pointed on your screen?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think you could do it like that. Too,
Oh,
like-
that too.
Sounds like a fun toy.
Yeah.
That's magic.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand how this technology exists, but it's pretty nice. We have a couple of slides we wanted to go through. I'll try to keep it quick. But we wanted to thank everybody for joining us for the Coffee with Your City event last week at Anna Cappuccino. I think we had a pretty good turnout and good conversation, a lot of interesting topics. And so we wanted to thank everybody for coming out to that event. We also had a couple of recognition events and that we wanted to thank our employees and volunteers who make these things happen. And so on May 11th, the Ventura County Historic Preservation Award was given, one of 6 was given to the Port Hueneme Historical Museum. So we were able to represent Port Hueneme at that event. And at the event, we invited everybody to come out and learn more about our museum on weekends and join some of the upcoming events, which are advertised on our Facebook and Instagram pages. So we just wanted to put another plug in for those. So lots going on. Also, last council meeting, the council actually approved a couple of new fee schedules that would allow us to add new programming that we weren't able to have in the past. So we wanted to now take the opportunity to advertise some of those and show the outcome of those, and that we're able to add new programming. So we have we have lots of summer programming coming up, but there's some specific new programs like the expanded junior lifeguard program, which is shown in the center there, the summer sports camp program, and the Going Places summer program, and many more. So people can join our scan the QR code or check our recreation page for more information. But there's a lot of summer events coming up, plus movie nights and other events as well. And with the deadline coming up of, I believe it's the 22nd. I think that's Friday. Yeah. The 2026 Hero Award nominations are due. I think we've received 1 or 2 at this point, and so we wanted to just do another reminder for anybody waiting to nominate that you have until the May 22nd. And then on May 25th, our Memorial Day 2026 ceremony, all are invited out to the pier where we're going to have our Memorial Day ceremony, and then our lifeguards will lead our community in a Memorial Day paddle out, which has become a Port Hueneme tradition. I think this is our 3rd year, so keeps getting bigger each year. We also wanted to thank Navy-based Ventura County for providing keynote speaker, Chief Staff Officer Captain Indy Littoral. I think the first year we had a Coast Guard speaker, and second year I think we might have had somebody from, I think it might have been Coast Guard as well. So I think this is the first time we've had a keynote speaker for Memorial Day from Navy-based Ventura County. So we're looking forward to that. And then just another reminder, it's coming up faster than it feels like, but Hueneme Beach Festival about 2 months out, July 11th. But we mostly wanted to remind people that the community poster contest is open now. That event ends 5 p.m. May 29th. So anybody who wants to submit a poster has another about a week and a half to do so. And then for June 1st, we have the current items currently scheduled for the June 1st agenda. Each first meeting in June, we typically have the Pride Month proclamation, so that is on the presentation schedule. For consent, we have the road repair SB1 resolution, which is an annual item for our road repairs for the coming year. And then, as I mentioned a moment ago, we'll have the budget update with GAN limit and some CIP items. We also are bringing forward the Union Hall permit for the Longshoreman Union Hall. That's going to be coming on June 1st. And then also our annual assessment district process starts. That typically comes forward with the budget in June. And then we're bringing back the item requested by council to review the city's 2025 parking analysis, and in particular the Bulker Park area. So that's a pretty full agenda, I think, especially with the budget. That could be a full item on its own. So June 1st, we have a busy schedule. So we'll be back here in 2 weeks going through those items. And that's everything I have. Thank you.
Any questions for City Manager? If not, we'll move on to council member reports. Councilmember Lopez?
Yes, my apologies to the residents. I wasn't able to attend the coffee with the city. I was actually in Sacramento. participated in the California Community Choice Association, which is, as I'm an alternate board member for Clean Power Alliance, the CCA is what governs a lot of our policies for energy and how California Assembly and the Senate manage our grid. So I got a lot of good, a lot of working knowledge on our grid, and I mean, California is very moving in a direction of carbon neutrality. In 2036, net zero carbon. It's a very hard requirement, but they're working towards it. And Clean Power Alliance is our power provider here in Ventura County for renewables, and so a lot of good information. It was just a quick snapshot. Like, you think about China. They invest 35% of their renewable energies of their GDP, where the United States somewhere at 5%. So they're moving fast. We're shifting gears, downshifting where we need to be speeding up. Battery banks are going to be, solar energy is abundant. We just don't have a way to capture it like water. We have dams for water to use. And so there's plenty of solar power that needs to be captured. So it was a lot of good information. Walked away out of there kind of nerding out, but it was good. So thanks to CPA. That's all I got.
I attended my meetings, but I have nothing to report back on.
I attended the Board of Supervisors meeting because Ventura County Animal Services has been under fire. Right before the start of this meeting, I got an email canceling our commission meeting this Thursday due to safety concerns. So I don't know what that means, but due to safety concerns, they canceled our meeting. So if you haven't been following the drama, there was a dog, a vicious dog who had bitten Bruce. Well, Bruce bit viciously 4 times, and nobody likes it. Nobody likes it, but VC Animal Services follows the protocol, and a rescue facility got involved, hired an expert. The expert says, "Oh, the dog could be rehabilitated. Put him out here," and it's one of these things where. As a risk management professional, I always think of the worst case scenario. So, could you transfer the liability if you transfer this dog over there? And I think the answer legally is, if you're thinking in terms of worst case scenario, no. Because if the dog were to kill a kid or whatever, worst case scenario, it would come back to VC Animal Services. Well, wait a minute, you didn't follow your protocol. So people are alleging that, they just want to euthanize this animal because whatever policies they have are insufficient. And so I've been trying to understand both sides. And I've come to the realization that, you could transfer liability, but that's not the primary purpose of a dog going to a rescue facility. It's going to a rescue facility to hopefully live out its life without incidents or problems. And therein lies the problems. And so I just don't understand. I hope to get clarification as to why our meeting was canceled due to safety concerns. But if anyone could help with that, that would be great. Fred showed a picture of the beach today that was full of trash. And I want to tell everybody that is not Hueneme Beach. It was Hueneme Beach. It's Hueneme Beach, but it was after a storm, okay? Okay, I'm just making sure. But, we're really, dude, come on, man. We can't carry a jet ski. No, anyways, we appreciate the effort that starts immediately after a storm. And the interesting thing more recently is the Valhallas are back. Millions of those little blue starfish, is that what they are? Not starfish, jellyfish. Yeah, and they stink. You know, there's millions of them on the beach right now. And so, anyways, yeah, it's always fascinating, but we're doing well. And then the last thing I want to say is like, you know, my brother has always been into the band, and he went into the Army and he became a part of the band, and he got 100 days of combat duty in Kosovo playing in the band. He used to joke he'd carry his M16 and his trombone, you know, and it was like going down the street. But anyways, my point being is this guy is so excited. He drives from Redding, California to come blow his horn on Hueneme Pier for Memorial Day. And I tell you, he's got so much enthusiasm for it. So we're going to look forward to seeing him on Memorial Day again. So he's the guy that plays the military song.
Okay, I know it's getting late, so I'll be quick. Just a couple of things. World Trade Day with the port was a really good session. Really demonstrates how connected our community is on a global level, and really has potential for us to improve on our economic development initiatives. So I think I was happy to see James there and happy to see staff there kind of gleaning the information that was provided. Also wanted to thank staff and James for the coffee with the city officials. I thought it went really well. I enjoyed speaking with some of our residents and some of the agencies that showed up. It was really a good morning. I think a lot of people who I spoke to later had very positive feedback with the conversations they had with you, James, so thank you for doing that. I also attended the Southern California Association of Governments Regional Conference out in Palm Desert. Really good session, picked up some working projects that you'll hear about later regarding the Lucy Jones Science and Earthquake Center at Caltech. Latina Action Day, I was invited to be part of the SCAG leadership who traveled to Sacramento to teach young Latinas how to advocate for pieces of legislation. Talked about 4 different pieces of legislation, and then took them around to various elected officials at the state capitol and had them speak to electeds about the legislation that they were particularly interested in. And while we were there, we had an opportunity to meet with Assemblyman Bennett and Jackie Irwin as well. The monthly senior social, I went to that. I hadn't been to one of those in a long time. It was really nice to see members of our senior social group and the exercise class. Sharon's doing a wonderful job out there, and I think she deserves some kind of recognition for the good work she's doing. And let's see, I think that's it. Oh, got a VCOG meeting that was rescheduled because we didn't have a quorum, so it's been rescheduled to this Thursday on the 24th. 3 p.m.? Pardon? 3 p.m.? 2 p.m., I think. VCOG? Yeah. Okay, it's online. Okay. Yeah. I'll send you the details if you're interested in being there. And that's all I forgot. Thank you.
Yeah, so I attended my regular monthly meetings. I did get an opportunity to sit on the Women's Realtor Association's Rise and Thrive panel, which was really good. Participated in the 60th anniversary, was at the port. Came after the trade, World Trade.
Oh, that's right, we went to the,
the 60th?
I don't know.
Anyway, we went to that.
It was the Bard Monument.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was nice. It was nice. There was some conversation about the permit, but it was explained what the status was of that during the event. So that was nice. And then of course, coffee with the city was really nice. Was that the largest that we've had? I think so. And folks came out and they stayed the entire time. And I think our city manager had an opportunity to share a lot of information with the community. Yeah. But they had him tied down. He had, so it was great. It was great. Yeah. So that was it for me. So is there anything else before we adjourn? Anything at all? If not, we're going to adjourn our meeting tonight at 9:09. Our next regular scheduled meeting will be Monday, June 1st at 6:30. So the meeting is adjourned.